I don't know if it's just me that's a super number nerd, or if you've also wondered which of the 4 main landing zones in Star Citizen has the shortest travel time from when you wake up in a bed until you stand in front of the ASOP terminal in a spaceport ready to call your ship. I decided to find out, and I'm gonna show you my results. Hello ladies and gentlemen. So when I started making this video, it seemed like a relatively simple one. Go to all 4 landing zones, spawn in the bed, run out to the spaceport, time it with a stopwatch, and be done with it. Video done in an afternoon. Easy peasy video. No, that's far from the truth. Because as it turned out, when I began this, there's a lot of variables that I needed to take into consideration. Elevators is a bit of a pain. Trains is even more of a pain, because sometimes you arrive at a train station and the train is there, doors are open, you run straight in. The moment you run in, they close and they take off right away. Other times, you might stand around for like a minute and wait. And yeah, sure, I could solve that by running the same thing multiple times, but that would take forever and the data logging would be a nightmare. So I took a different approach. So here's how I done my testing. For each of the 4 major landing zones, I recorded a run from the bed to the ASOP terminals. I divided it into running time, where I'm basically running from one point to another. I divided it into train ride times. Those are times only spent while the train is moving. So that is from the moment the train doors begin to close to the moment they begin to open at the destination station. That's just the time of the train ride themselves. Now, the wait time, I assume, is similar, at least very close to similar for all different landing zones. So that will kind of average out, if you will, because if the wait time is averagely the same across the different landing zones, I don't really have to account for it. However, elevators is different, as Area 18 and Lore will only have 1 elevator ride that you need to take, which is out of the HABs. However, on New Babbage and Orison, there's 2 elevators. There's both 1 out of the HAB and there's 1 from the train station into the spaceport. So you have 2 elevators. So I needed to take that into consideration. So what I did here was I took all the elevator rides from all my different trips and I combined the wait time, so from when I pressed the call button and until I was able to leave the elevator at the destination. All those times I measured for all my different runs and I averaged them out. And then I added, of course, that average time per elevator ride to the total time, giving me an expected time, which was the final result. First of all, the run times, we can see those here. We can see that the fastest one was actually surprising to me, New Babbage, at just 1 minute and 4 seconds of total run time. So the distance you have to run is relatively short, with the longest one being Area 18 and Orison. Orison, kind of gonna guess that. There's a bit of run there in the beginning, but I'm kind of surprised about Area 18. However, if we add the train ride times, well, then all of a sudden things begin to look a little different, which you can see here again, Lorville coming in with a very fast train ride of just 44 seconds. But again, if we look at Orison, that's a lot of train rides, almost double the ride time on the train compared to Lorville. So with that, we can calculate the total time. So remember, this is the time without elevators and without wait time for trains. Remember, we are disregarding wait time for trains, as I'm expecting that to be the same across the different landing zones. And we can see the times here, where we again see Lorville coming out ahead with a total time of 1 minute and 58 seconds, being the fastest, and the slowest being Orison at almost 1 minute longer. That's a lot. But it gets worse, because if we look at the number of elevators, remember we talked about that. Now, the average elevator time from pressing call until I left at the other end, I got 21.76 seconds. So I rounded it up and said, let's make it 22 seconds. That's a quarter of a second added. I think that's fair. And if I add then 22 seconds per elevator ride, we end up with the expected times that we see here. And again, we see that Lorville is the fastest, with Area 18 right behind. Orison is more than 1 minute slower than Lorville. So if all you're looking for is the shortest time from bed to ASOP for a main landing zone, then Lorville is the fastest And I know, of course, there'll be already a bunch of you in the comment section. Oh, space stations, what about space stations? Yes, space stations will be a lot quicker, obviously, but that was never the intent here, because we know that those are quick. We know that space stations are going to be the fastest way from bed to ASOP if you want to move in there. But space stations also have their limitations in terms of availability, in terms of shops and all that stuff. So if you do want to live at a main landing zone or a main landing site, then it seems like, at least in terms of travel time, Lorwell is the fastest. Now, if you like quick, nerdy, number crunching videos like this, then stay tuned to the channel, because I'll deliver that in buckets. So go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks a lot for watching, and also next time, I'll see you guys in space.